Hello, everyone. Welcome back to MIRRORMOURN. We're starting a bit early today. Got a bit of a schedule change just for this week. And there'll be another change, as you all might be noticing with Nick's information there. Glad to be here. I'm your game master, Esper, and this campaign has been amazingly tense for quite some time now. And every session now, I think, is going to be pretty major stuff. This might be a shorter session, by the way. But here we are on the eve of war. Who are the characters, guys?
Hello, I'm Warsor and I play Walykos, the level 7 half-elf swarm ranger.
I am Vince, and I am playing the Wild Magic Sorcerer Vapor.
I'm Nick. I was playing Adriel Mantavel, but something new may happen this session.
And I'm Adam, and I'm playing Aygir, the Artificer.
The situation in Barnacle has come to a head. You all just had a very long and, in many different ways, difficult, harrowing, draining night where you fought and Adriel, rather, Nick's character, indeed did show that he had been aiding the enemy in some capacity. He is now imprisoned. You finally get some rest. You all have completed a long rest. The next morning comes, and you're sore. You're groggy. You're tired, but you probably have the adrenaline kicking in, and you know that war or some variety of siege is just at the doorstep. Given the scouts' estimates, the host of ships, this armada we might call it, from the giants continent, like the origin continent of the giants in Mirrorborn, Lundgrutfoders, they should be arriving tomorrow. So this is like literally the eve of war, whatever might happen. The situation in Barnacle is certainly not great. Everything is in sort of a frenzy. In the Common Wings, there are people looting and rioting. Lots of people are fleeing the city because they imagine that whatever happens would be deadly and devastating. Other people are staying. The force, like, the soldiers and the knights and even the conscripted militia is doing everything I can to prepare for war. And there is a sort of trickling stream of allies coming into Barnacle from surrounding settlements and nearby regions. And at some point, there is going to be like an actual, like, full-on battalion coming in from Plethoris. It's just going to take them a while. Like, they have to get through the lattice to get here. So they're like currently in the lattice, like going through these like crisscrossing crossroads and highways and stuff that's like cut through this like massive plains land of Fort Grass. So they should be arriving, in the near future, but they're not here now. House Honeybeak was arrested late last night, and they were all taken in for questioning. Adriel said that Clance Honeybeak, the current, what might be called current patriarch of the family, the current head of that household, he was also in league with Baal Vonder, the old giant lord who has been in hiding and plotting for well over a century now, since the elves took this island nation that you all know as Haven Isle, originally Eaberg. So we're going to start off with a scene that's shortly after you all have gotten yourselves ready for the day. We have Aygir, Vapor, and Walykos at the Storm Tower, and specifically you are at a, well, we might call it an arcane workshop, where Duncan Mantevale, Master of Rituals and Grandfather of Adriel, and Crispin Hallows, Tower Wizard of House Mantevale, have been working hour after hour on some magical armaments, enhanced magical armaments. And Aygir and Vapor, you go, and Walykos, and you lend aid as they're in like the final stage of getting these items prepared, and you do what you can through your talent, through extra magical components, and you help them finish these two items. Oh, very well, Aygir. And Duncan Mantevale turns to you. His eyes are just like these bloodshot orbs within heavy pink bags, and even his hands are a little unsteady from sleep deprivation. Your sword. And he hands to you.
I told you should have slept a little bit, just in the middle of it. You
I
didn't have to work constantly.
I tried.
Nothing goes faster if you take a break.
I nodded off for just a short time and woke back up.
But this is good work. I don't think even I myself would have done this alone.
You look over the weapon. It is a fantastic master-crafted elven blade, a sword of wounding, which already had a pretty powerful magic forged into it. It has been magically enhanced. The only physical alteration that is noticeable is there now is this topaz gem inlaid into its hilt. And not only does it continue to bear the wounding property, which is quite a thing, but it also now has 2 additional magical effects. There is an at-will spell you can cast through the sword called Desiccating Pall, and we've already talked about this in private.
Yep.
For everyone else, it's a small area, like a 5-foot radius area within 30 feet, and creatures in the area make a Constitution save. On a failure, they take, I think it would be 2d6 necrotic damage. 2d8 necrotic damage, rather. So a sort of small, short-range AoE necrotic cantrip that desiccates the subjects. And then once per day, you can cast through the sword a Ray of Enfeeblement. This is a Topaz Dragon-style magic that has been infused into this. It's not necessarily an evil weapon. It could certainly be used for evil intentions, but it does draw upon a psionic connection to the negative energy plane. So hopefully you'll be wielding this for good.
That's certainly his plan. As he's looking it over, he the neutral good Aygir, who has never particularly been too caught up in the types of things that have, led other people astray. So, what is this stone? Do you know anything about it? I was given it, but I haven't looked at it much myself.
I believe it comes from a coastal cavern out on the western coast near the Steam Curtain.
I'm from not far from there. Is it over on the coast of the steppe?
Yes, the western coast indeed. I was able to harness its magic. I've not been feeling well since doing so. I'm going to take a rest here momentarily.
I should think so, yes. He's going to have to test this out.
He takes a nice deep drink of water. His lips are like cracked and parched. I've been dreadfully thirsty since handling that gem.
Interesting. Good to know.
And you, Vapor,
Yeah.
Crispin Hallows brings to you your Feywild shard, which you can affix to your arcane, like your spellcasting rod, or something else if you would rather. It is a wondrous crystal shard, the colors of which resemble a sunset over the plain of Faerie, a place that is pretty far removed from Haven Isle, but there is always that odd chance for a little pocket or a crossing, maybe. This was a bitch to work with, I have to say. For a time, I felt that my magics, my enhancements were going quite well. I felt that I had a handle on things, but then I lost it, and I had to put a cease to the ritual before things had an explosion or whatever terrible effect might have erupted forth from it. But here you have it. And you study it, and indeed, what he has done does seem like he had this kind of like wizardly, structured, systematic enhancement, and then it just veers off into a wild strengthening of the innate properties of the thing, and you don't think he so much as purposefully did this. There's two effects. You don't think he so much as purposely did the second effect as just he sort of opened the gate and then left, and it's up to you to do what you will with that open gate. So the first property that he was able to affect will enhance your Stormbolt. This is on top of the regular properties of the Feywild shard, of course. Those all remain. Your Stormbolt is enhanced. It's like a greater Stormbolt now. The range has now doubled. You've got 120 feet of range for your Stormbolt, and the damage dice now go up to D10s.
Oh, okay, wow.
So your Stormbolt has been empowered, your cantrip, and then the secondary effect that I've just described is a once per day, so this will recharge daily at dawn. You can cast a spell known as Chaos Rift. Now, narratively, it's more like you're opening this Chaos Rift, but behind the scenes, mechanically, we know it's the Chaos Rift spell. It's a 120-foot range, and you pick a point, and then a 20-foot radius rift of chaos will open from there, and it deals damage to the creatures in there, and there's the damage type is randomized, and each damage type carries with it a secondary effect. So it could be acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, poison, psychic, or thunder. And depending upon which one of those gets randomly rolled for the damage of the spell, each one carries its own unique secondary effect that goes along with it. You concentrate on the spell up to 1 minute, and as long as you're concentrating, that secondary effect will continue. So the spell can be found in the Emporium, or if you just want to leave it up to me, I can just kind of narrate it out when you cast the spell.
I will have to type it up and all that stuff.
Very well.
Fortunately, my books are all put away, so I can't get at them right now.
No problem.
I got you, man.
Yeah, there's
I'll
some pretty
send it to
cool
you.
effects. Each one kind of fits along with the flavor of that damage type. There you have it. I will entrust this to you. My misgivings about you, we've already addressed that, so I'll just assume you're going to take full responsibility for whatever happens for using this fairy shard.
Vapor looks it over and is kind of like slowly turning it in his hands, like just looking at it.
When you look into the shard, you really do see what looks like this glorious sunset over the vibrant, misty, scintillating Feywild forest, and you even see in the sky these like bolts of green and violet lightning rippling down from time to time.
You have aided me greatly, and I shall use this in defense of our city.
Yes, I'm very much trusting that's what your intention is, but just please, if something goes awry, do what you can to
I will do what I can to prevent collateral
quell the
damage around.
wildfires or whatever bursts out of this.
Yes. He is going to attach it to his rod that he got, the staff.
Sure, makes sense. I imagine there's
Yeah.
like this. It's like this like bronzen rod with the inlaid runes, and then this like spectrum of color crystal poking out of the end of it.
He's actually going to hollow the base out and stick it in there, so that way when he activates it, he kind of does the Gandalf slams the staff down.
Very well. So it points
Yeah.
towards you. Yes, good thinking. If some sort of errant blast comes out of that thing, it will go directly into you, and you might shield any innocent bystanders.
Yes.
All right. It took a lot of effort to get those things enhanced. Those are some pretty damn good magic items, and I know you both will make great usage of them. So there is the issue of the belt and Adriel's sword. Well, this rightfully belongs to the Vanguard, and Duncan hands over the belt of +2 strength, the giant strength belt. And you all can do with it as you will. Maybe one of you wants to equip that. The sword that I had made for my grandson. What a shame. I suppose I would hand it off to the Vanguard if you think you would have need for it. If not, there are a couple of knights that have requested it.
Can I see the sword?
He hands you an excellent castle-forged short sword, and in your hand it feels just incredibly light and swift of strike. When you take the attack action, you can make an additional attack with this.
As a bonus action, right?
No.
It's
Just as
we
part of the
changed
attack
it, yeah.
action. It's a +1
Got it.
short sword.
got it.
Also, if I may, 2 extra things that may be important. I do have studded leather armor, if anyone wanted that or needed that. I also have like random like short bow,
The
stuff like that.
Emerald Dragon scale armor will be finished today.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out I do have studded leather just in case.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
Yeah, I also have that really. I have my father's rapier as well.
That I would request. Yeah, I'm gonna return that to him or keep it.
Yeah, the that like really finely crafted blade that my father gave me.
The short sword, I look it over, I sheath it back, and I say, unless any of you want it, I think it should go to a knight who will be defending Haven Isle.
Yes, it
I
should
would say-
stand for Barnacles now instead of against it.
I would say give it to his cousin that was with us.
If I don't know that's his sort of weapon, but short sword is more for someone that is, dexterous. But
I would offer it to him at least first.
yeah, I would offer it to him. Perhaps he wants it.
I will hand it
Either
over
as
to
a sidearm?
Varric, and he can make usage of it or
Pass it
along to one who might be able to most
Use
take
it
advantage of
effectively.
its properties.
Yeah. Thank you.
I
put a
am
hand
not
on his
feeling
shoulder.
well.
Yeah.
I must retire for a time.
I reach out, I put a hand on his shoulder, and I just give him a look in the eye, like I understand. I'm sorry.
I don't know what is going to happen. I feel as though we are on the edge of a blade, and on one side there is catastrophe of the worst sort, and the other side is a triumphant victory.
Well, when blades are drawn, lines are drawn up, and when lines are drawn up and battle is joined, there are those at the front, and they call those the Vanguard, and they call us the Vanguard for that reason.
Well, I'm glad your resolve is holding. You have suffered a blow, but you have not been fractured.
That is opposition as the
And
Vanguard.
Duncan, he calls a servant who takes his arm and helps him to go rest
I look like I want to
private
say
chamber.
something more, but I just let him go.
Crispin Hallows sinks into a high-backed, cushioned chair near a polished table that still has all kinds of implements and like, magic components on it. I should probably rest myself.
You'll need your strength for what's to come.
I'm planning on aiding in whatever way that I can tomorrow. I'm considering going with you all to Holmesgate.
To fight
Yes,
with us?
to join in the defense of what could be the entry point of the foe.
Are you not more needed here?
I
That's
am
what I would
needed
think.
here. I'm needed everywhere. Alas,
With-
there's only one of me.
With respect, what would you do at the front?
Well, it has proven time and again that magical strategies can provide solutions for impossible situations.
You're not wrong.
I'm thinking very carefully of which spells I'll be preparing on the morrow.
If you are joining us, I would recommend stuff that would aid us in destroying their vessels quickly.
I was going to say our mission that I'm going to suggest, at least heavily, is taking out the airships. If we can level their air force, all that they'll have is their fleet. And that is what that fortress is designed to repel, the fleet, of ships, not an air force.
Then lightning bolt would be best. I remember when I was casting it, I was setting fire upon those vessels on anything that passed through it that was flammable.
With respect to you, Vapor, is Mr. Hallows not a powerful wizard? Do you not
I
Well,
was
have
offering my
some mighty
advice.
storm you can cause up?
Well, he's offering him tactical use lightning, is what he's saying.
You all have a pretty good assessment of your allies here. There really wouldn't be a big difference in terms of sheer power level between Vapor and Crispin Hallows, and Duncan Mantedale for that matter. You all are really kind of all around about the same level, kind of an early second tier. The big strength in terms of like individuals are the knights. Those knights are like an elite. Those are the elite force and the vanguard.
Now that they're going to rest, Crispin, get some rest. Whatever, if you're coming with us or not, you're going to need all your strength for tomorrow.
Unless the Duke directly orders that I stay here, I'm going to go.
Understood.
Now more than ever, the vanguard needs additional support.
Would be glad to have you.
After he walks away, Aygir is going to turn to Walykos and say, well, should we let him come along? If we do, I say we keep him on the Cherek Tish.
It would be.
But yes, I named it. I named the airship. Yes. You happy?
God.
I don't
It means
care.
a horse of the finest quality in my people's language.
Aygir, I honestly, right now, after the night that I've had, I don't give a flying fuck what you name the airship.
No, it's an airship, not a fuck. But it does fly.
Aygir.
What?
Leave Walykos alone.
He looks like hell. Did you notice that?
I do, and I know exactly why he feels like hell. I feel like hell as well.
Walykos gives a grateful nod to Vapor.
Now, Aygir, we have other stuff to do before we depart. We need to figure out another weakness on that airship.
Yeah.
You're going to be our
Yes,
best
we do.
man at it. Let's go.
Well, we
Walykos,
not just need
do
to
whatever
figure it out, we need to block the
rest
one
you
that...
need. Do whatever else you need.
I'm going to try to get a little rest, but I need to get my armor from the castle smiths.
We
need
don't
to
really
find
have
a-
to go into a role play
Yeah.
scene for the armor, but it is completed.
I was just going to mention it. Yeah.
Yep. The castle, the Long Keep leather workers have completed it, so that you have 2 suits of light emerald dragon scale armor. It's an AC of 12 plus your dex,
Plus, yeah.
and you have resistance to psychic damage
Psychic
while you're
and
wearing
fire.
it.
And fire.
Psychic and fire. Psychic and fire?
Yes, you told me that.
Did
I was
Okay.
surprised too.
I might have actually said that wrong, but whatever. Psychic and fire damage.
Oh. Well, if you would like to downgrade it, I understand. but
We should probably keep it psychic and fire.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, I just remember there was a reason why I did it that way.
That's-
It's an enhanced variety.
well, yes. Maybe the magics, they pulled a bit more out of it.
I'm not going to say
Not-
anything else, but yes, I just remembered it is supposed to be psychic and fire resistance.
Not to also be
so-
that guy and pile on,
Oh,
but
is he
really
like a
quickly,
hybrid? Yeah.
as we discussed, the once a day spell in that sword, is it Ray of Enfeeblement or is it the one we were talking about from the Emporium?
Oh, I thought it was the one from the Emporium.
My notes said Ray Enfeeblement, but maybe our Discord chat was otherwise. Can
We
you
were talking
remind
about
me?
Veiling Strike.
Yes, the one that.
Oh, yes. Right.
'Cause it was
The
illusion and
Veiling
kind of-
Strike.
If there's a reason why not to have it be that and have it be Ray of Enfeeblement instead, just let me know. But
Your preference.
okay, then definitely Veiling Strike.
Okay. Yes,
Yes.
I do remember you talking to you about that.
That's a good spell for a sword. It's very thematic.
It is.
It just is such a great opportunity to use it. Yeah.
I've just
Action.
noticed we did get a couple of super chats.
We did,
I
yeah.
wanted, I wanted to say thank you to
Yeah,
Bryant. Hey, the mad
Hey.
philosopher has come to visit us. Emissary of the Mithril Emperor. Thank you very much, Bryant. And I think there was another one, wasn't there?
I didn't see any other, but
Okay, I guess it's just that one. All right. I swore I saw another one from a similar name, but my eyes might have deceived me.
no.
Okay, so who is going to be wearing the Emerald Dragon Scale armor?
Well, obviously me. I had one commissioned.
Right. The intention was Walykos and
Adriel.
Okay, so we've got a second suit of it on hand,
if we had
available
known that-
for who.
I would have made the higher armor that took it all, but it was already, past
Yeah.
that point.
So unless Vapor could use it, I'm not sure what to do with the second armor.
I don't
It's fairly detrimental to wear armor you're not proficient in.
proficient with.
Yeah,
You
can't
can't
that's
cast
the thing.
spells
There's
It's
for
not
one
advantage.
thing.
No,
Yeah.
you can cast spells. You just. Oh wait, no, you can't. You're right.
You can't
I'm
cast
sorry, I
spells.
was-
You have
I was thinking
disadvantage
of
on like
weapons.
attacks and deck saves.
Yeah.
It's not great.
I think
Yeah.
you should give it to Adriel and then release him from prison. Like,
Well,
Yeah,
there's-
smart
there's-
idea there.
I feel like we should. Here's what I think.
We'll
Esper.
think about that one.
Esper, I think we should pair it with the sword, and whoever the sword goes to,
That makes
light
sense.
armor is
Yes,
probably
that makes a
finesse.
lot of sense. There's
So-
a young, agile knight who will make great use
was
of
gonna
both
say,
those items.
someone just jackpotted. Like he's
Yeah.
like a mid-level, low-level character who's just like, here's the stuff. You lucked into it. He'll become a famous knight. no
we
doubt.
could also just sell the armor.
Gold is not really important right now. Like
Yeah,
we're about to be on
it's-
war.
We're
Yeah.
not trying to
Maybe
build
with
a
gold.
stronghold.
A knight fully equipped with good armor.
No, it's definitely better to give it to someone to help. Yeah,
Let's give it away.
Speaking of the
It'd be
defense,
more
though,
use for us.
there is definitely one thing that we're doing that actually Vince brought up. We're going, at least Aygir and Vapor, to wherever the airship that we capture, the aeroskip that we captured, is being kept, and we're going to spend probably most of this day looking it over and trying to find like something that might be a weakness or a spot where if you hit it, you do a lot of damage, like a exposed engine connection or something.
Why don't you just take the scene? Go with it. I'll
That
be over
that
here.
is what I am doing in this moment.
Yeah.
But yes.
No, I'm saying, yeah, take it.
So Vapor, yes. I didn't know I told you about that, but we were going to go and inspect the airship, weren't we?
Yes.
Do you
You'd
have
be
any
better
theories?
at it.
I know that they can be boarded if you have someone already in the air, but I don't think that's necessarily likely, although we could reinforce the door. Did you have any ideas of where you thought you could strike one to take it down? Mr. I call it the lightning.
Vapor walks to the front. If I'm able to get straight down it, I can do the most damage, but that's only optimal for head on. But otherwise, I would say aim for the helm. Remove that. They can't steer. They can't fly. Otherwise, aim for whatever moves them forward.
So is there and this I guess doesn't need to be a full scene in and of itself, the actual assembly portion, but given that we have so little time, is there the opportunity for like an A-team style montage as somebody we round up from the local knights can help us armor this thing? Like again in the A-team where they always end up with some crazy armored vehicle. Maybe add a lightning rod, reinforce the door to get
Sure.
in.
Well, I'll tell you a couple things. Okay, I'll tell you a couple things. The dwarf engineer who you captured, he is, available on hand. They keep him in a cell, but they've been giving him like a fair treatment since he has been complying.
Yeah, he's the one I'm actually most interested to talk to and actually play that out.
Yep.
He might be a valuable ally.
So his name is Mutton Fist.
Mutton Fist.
Yes, Mutton Fist. He refers to himself as an engineer, and there are other dwarven engineers that have been trained in his trade and that they pilot and help upkeep these aeroskiffs, is what he calls them, aeroskiffs. The name of this particular one that you captured is Fat Dame. Now, you've been calling it by something else suddenly, which maybe you're wanting to rename it, but he's going to forever refer to her. He doesn't call it it, he calls it her. He always refers to her as Fat Dame, and he has quite a bit of affection for this aeroskiff.
You are calling her Fat Dame. Is she not sleek? Does she not glide through the air? Why is this? And I don't know if he's speaking through a translator or what, but...
So you call it... Okay, you call a translator in. There we are. So he's...
Yeah.
He grunts out something, and the translator says... He thinks that the naming conventions betwixt your folk and his own are different.
I see.
He grunts something else out. He says that she is like a graceful whale swimming through tranquil waters.
I had thought to call her Cherektish. In my people's tongue, it is the finest classification of horse, fit only for kings, but...
You speak in your goblin tongue, which does have a connection to dwarvish and giant, right? There's sort of a family with giant being the root or the elder language. And when you say that, he kind of winces as though the goblin tongue is like offensive to his ears.
Oh, you've heard worse. You fight on the side of giants. Do you still?
What
What does he say?
He says we shouldn't call her that. That's not her name. She will get offended, and that will bring bad luck.
I have brothers and cousins who sail the seas. They say similar things. Well, to whom or to what lies your allegiance there, Mutton Fist? He says the name with a similar disdain to...
The elf, whatever, scholar relays that to him, and the dwarf looks at you, looks at the elf, looks down, strokes the braids of his beard. He says it's very difficult to answer this question.
Well, if you told him to spit something out that's
I am
not just
your
a
captive.
glob of green stuff.
I'm not in much of a position to disobey you.
And
Aygir.
should we be fighting against? I'm getting to that.
No,
What?
I want to speak.
Oh.
I think he's more of... He will be our ally as long as he's our prisoner, but given the chance, he'll probably betray us.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It was just a
I wouldn't
plan
count
for
on
that.
any depth of loyalty of this one.
So what you're saying? Have you ever been in a battle before? And Aygir is asking the translator this directly.
Have I ever been in battle? Oh,
Yes.
no. By the best
you
of
ever had your
waters,
legs chained
you
to a
could get
dwarf?
hurt doing such a thing.
Well, they make armor for that.
So I've heard.
He claps both his
What are
hands
you
on his shoulders.
insinuating?
My good man. Oh,
No,
do I
I
have
didn't
an
sign up for
opportunity
this.
for you
No.
which leads to only glory. Well, and a little bit of leg chaining to... And he nods in the direction of the dwarf. We're going to need your help. I do not speak
I've
this
just become
man's
betrothed.
tongue.
I'm going to be a married man soon. I have
And
many
you'll be a
affairs to
married
attend
man
to.
with a military pension and all the glory of having won
Think
a
of
great
the stories
victory.
you get to tell your kids.
See? The little ones love that kind of stuff.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh boy. Once again,
Are we both
chance
doing
to use my
that?
horrible charisma.
Are we both doing that?
That's a good question.
I'd like Aygir to roll it. If you would like to aid
Okay.
him, Vapor, you can roll a help check.
How's that 19 for a help check?
Roll with advantage, Aygir.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, because actually, that came out pretty well. It's a 15. You rolled a 17, so it's a 15.
So, well, I can help you to a degree, right? But I won't be able to go along with you if any immediate fighting breaks out. But
Why is that not? Do you have a weak heart which you faint? If you pass out? If
I
you're
have
sight of
no
enemies?
such military training. I am a man of books and letters.
What is your name? Yeah, Vapor's asking the translator for his name.
I am Arlo
Arlo.
of House Havensward.
Arlo of House Havenwood. We are going to need your assistance with him. If we're in the middle of combat and he's trying to warn us of something that's malfunctioning on that ship, we're gonna need your aid. You will be aiding the Vanguard.
And see
You'll
what
be
my
aiding
associate
in
says?
defending the city.
Yes. And you will be on the ship the whole time. You won't be in the thick of it, so to speak. You will be aboard this. Shall we compromise and call her old mare, perhaps? He says to the translator with the intention of having that relayed along to Mutton Fist.
The translator is sort of resistant and worried and griping and just kind of kicking and screaming, but he's gonna go along with you. You're just gonna have to kind of drag him.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously.
In
When
his
has Vaper
mind,
ever had a problem
in
of
his
dragging
mind, he is
someone
only
along?
helping to a limited degree, only with translation things,
What?
staying
Yeah.
inside in a well-protected, like inside of the
In
aeroskiff
our
or
mind,
inside
that
of
is
a
absolutely the
fortified
intention.
structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
we'll
wondering
see what
why
happens.
you see the need to drag this translator along. You don't need him.
It's to relay orders to the dwarf so that we're
I
better able to
speak
actually
Dwarven.
fly.
Oh,
You do?
that's
You,
right.
you know this. I speak
Walykos
like
does
every
speak
language.
Dwarven. Never mind. We're not going to need him. I
Okay,
completely
well,
forgot.
it
I
would've been-
honestly
yeah.
completely forgot that.
I was
Right,
just
it
wondering,
hasn't
like,
come
are
up.
you just bullying this guy just to bully?
No. I swear, I completely forgot that. Thank you for reminding me on
So I
that.
speak Dwarven, Draconic, Elven, Giant, like any language that you need. I've got it.
You actually speak it, or you have a spell that lets you speak it?
No, I actually speak
He
it.
actually speaks
Okay.
it. He
Okay.
has like a
The
plethora of-
improved rangers get like 2 extra
I see,
languages
I
or
see.
something.
Yeah, they are the translator of all.
Yeah.
There we
And
go.
then my particular ranger gets a couple extra languages, and favorite enemy gives you extra languages
Sure.
of your enemies.
Okay, well, so then as this is going on then... Wait a second. I'm remembering now. Did Walykos say something about... Does he speak Dwarven? You've met Walykos before, right? Do you know he speaks Dwarven?
Who?
Walykos, he looks a little bit like me, but not. Looks a little bit like him.
Aygir,
but-
I don't think
oh.
he's ever met Walykos.
Oh,
I think he's.
yes, him. I've seen him before.
But
You ever heard
yes,
him
I
speak
do
Dwarven?
believe he speaks Dwarven.
Well,
Never mind,
then,
although we're not going to need you after all in this
yeah,
battle.
you're fine. Mutton Fist. I was about to compromise and call it the Old Mare. That is in line with your sensibilities and mine, is it not? Is it that much bad luck to rename her that?
Chamazalas, comastir kiris, ba no barser nom da verdakur.
I don't think he wants
Feel
to
free
change
to
it at all.
call her whatever you fancy, but it's not going to change what her actual name is.
I think you've
Aygir,
come around to
Aygir,
my way of
Aygir.
thinking,
Aygir,
and, more importantly, should we fight against the forces from Lund Grutvaters? If you stand with us, where do you stand?
Enun karna karta.
Well, I cannot negate you.
In the battle, we are going to be aboard our good and dutiful old mare, making her fly gracefully and proud and true. And if you should try and steer her into danger, you should feel the sky's wrath. And he slightly draws a little bit of his sword and then puts it back and says, "Ooh, I like naming things." Yes, Vapor?
Aygir. Don't
Arlo
name
kind of
it.
figures out a way to translate that, and he speaks it to the dwarf in Dwarfish.
Kovish.
I see. He seems to understand perfectly well what it is you're saying. Now, I personally would like to impress upon you the notion that it's a bad idea to try to compel a dwarf to fight against one of his own clan folk. That is seen as a grave and terrible sin amongst their people.
Well, how do we know they're all of the same clan? Do they not have a bunch of them, those dwarves?
Aygir, I have an idea.
Yes, Vapor? Oh,
Why don't you ask him for lessons on how to operate this vessel? So that way we actually don't need him.
Klartes como. Ma edifis nargo.
Yes, indeed, there are a number of different dwarven clans in the service of the giants. But when they are behind... when they are behind iron... he said when they're behind iron, it's hard to know who is who. I suppose he means when they're armored up or inside of a vessel.
I see. Well, to Vapor, Aygir says, "What, you would have me learn in a day? I wish I could have done this earlier, but you've seen what's been going on. I still don't know if Walykos is okay." And then through the translator to the dwarf, he says, "Look, I just need you to fly the ship. Any fighting will not be done by you. You have my word on that. But steer us into danger, and it'll be your life. Not mine, not theirs."
La list mina to carita wod.
She is my dear one, my darling. I will fly her, always.
Now that's the word of a mariner. I agree, Vapor. I agree. If I could fly her, it would be much easier, but I think we're not bind on this one.
We also are going to need a crew to figure out how to operate its weapon, that arcane ballista of sorts. That'll
Are
give us
you
great
volunteering?
advantage. I wouldn't be able to if I'm throwing my own spells out.
Hmm.
And I also have another task I want to get done today before it gets too late that the water freezes. That's submarine. I want to see if I can find any information on it.
Well, shall I let you attend to that, and I'll see about getting us a crew.
I would recommend some younger knights for the weapon.
I should think so. I also had one more in mind who might be able to do a few tricks with some toys of theirs.
Whoever you think is trustworthy. I'm gonna go raid that submarine, see what I can find. Mind
So
if I borrow
out
your
of
bag of holding?
wait, sorry, what was that?
He wants to know if he can borrow the bag of holding so that way he can just stuff stuff into it.
Y-
You have
yes,
that.
but don't get it too wet.
I'll do my best. So with Aygir working on the airship, Vapor is going to go to where the submarine has settled on the bottom.
Sure.
Yep.
I
And
did
it's
want
just
to
looking for
just
anything
clarify
for that.
something since we're on the topic. So, Aygir and really all of you have seen the interior of the Arrow skiff. It holds 4 people
Right.
easily. You could get 6 in there and it wouldn't be too bad. 7, 8, it's going to be getting cramped.
Right.
And then over that, it's like you're just packing in like sardines at that point.
The plan right now, unless
Usually
any
there's
other...
a team of 3 operating a ballista.
Sure. Okay.
There's one that does loading, one that does aiming. Well, they're actions like aim, load, fire. Those are all actions.
Right.
You could have one person operate it. It's just going to take 3 actions, like 3 turns to do a single shot.
Right.
So it's a siege weapon. So that would be something like an exotic type weapon. So there's probably like siege engineers of some variety in the command of House Drakestone. Most certainly at Holmesgate there are. So people like that are really what's ideal. Otherwise, it's less effective in whatever ways. Aygir, do you have proficiency with air vehicles?
That is not something that is easy to get by default, so no, he does not.
You do not. Okay.
That's
so
why
you
So
would probably
he's,
be the least worst at trying to fly this thing in a pinch, and
Okay.
even then you don't feel abundantly confident. But
Sure. Which is why the plan
you
is to
never
have
know
it flown
what
by
can
its
happen in
pilot.
such crisis situations.
But knowing that you can reasonably fit 6 people, the plan will be for the pilot to still fly it, Aygir to lead the group and bully the pilot if he starts to look rebellious, and then to get 3 to talk to, I don't know, Pendrakestone or one of the head knights about getting 3 sort of junior knights to join as the artillery crew, and then to find our old pal Arachno as like an extra person who can move around really quickly, and like if we need to, say, drop him off, he can run down on a line and do stuff like that, because he can't fly but he can swing and do acrobatic stuff.
Yeah, he can't fly. He has essentially his hand crossbow that can shoot this like thin lined grappling hook thing, and
Which could
he
be a
climbs
useful
readily
method
like Walykos does.
if we're ever like in a dogfight, maybe for boarding parties and such.
Very well. So you've got this idea and this plan, and we'll see how well it works out. Now, you said that you wanted to speak with somebody else. Who was that you just mentioned?
That was going to be Arachno.
Arachno. Okay, so before we get to that, there is an occurrence. A small team, we'll call them, of Drakestone guardsmen find you all. Vanguard, there is somebody requesting an audience with you, it would seem, at the Western City Gate. He's causing quite a fuss. A half-giant has arrived at our city.
A half giant.
A half-giant has arrived at our city. Though, as it stands, he has not shown signs that he is an enemy. He claims that he has flown in to aid in the defense of Barnacle.
How does he even know, like, us? Have we met him before?
Well, you all have met 2 half-giants. You properly met one, Ninrod, on Black Rock Isle.
Right.
And he was a kind of member of some order from this northern island of
him.
Flumeless.
Yeah.
He had like taken a vow of silence, and he had a number of different capabilities. So you probably met him. Also in the
almost forgot
battle,
about him.
there was a half-giant Intertarch that
Yeah.
really Walykos was the only one that actually knew him from your time at the lair of Belvander. So considering that this person flew in presumably on a kite sail and is speaking, has requested you all, you're not thinking it's Ninrod.
Oh, really? I would have, that's my only connection that I would have thought of. It might have been Ninrod sending a message back.
The
to
description doesn't fit, though. Ninrod.
Well, oh, no, I mean.
Ninrod
but,
was bigger than this.
But Ninrod had a way of communicating with his order. My thought is maybe he mentioned us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they know.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, yeah, let's investigate.
There's been quite a fuss, and the gate guard have not let him inside the city.
I see. Well,
Walykos, why don't you and I go take care of this? We'll leave Aygir to the airship.
yeah.
After we're done with this, I'm going to go loot the submarine. We haven't had a chance to do that.
Yeah.
See if I can find any more battle plans that would help us in our...
Walykos is geared up in his armor,
Okay.
his new armor, and attuned to it. He's got a staff.
The armor does
Vapor
not
looks
require
at it and
attunement.
goes, I have to say, you look good in green.
No, just whoever's
Really?
wearing it.
Because-
Just naturally gives you that resistance.
I'm totally fine with that. Normally in the DMG, armors of resistance do require attunement. That's why I was just asking.
This is from the
Special.
Emporium. It's just
Yep.
the special material that's giving that property.
I am
It's
all for
technically
using
not
attunement.
magic armor.
Oh, even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yes. So Vapor, you were saying we should go. I'm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, and he also mentions you look good in the green armor.
Thank you. I think I'll need it.
We're all going to need it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Walykos
Should
comes
get some
out in
fire.
glistening emerald scales, a suit of light armor.
I'm gonna have to see if I can get some artwork for that at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so Vapor suggested, Aygir go ahead and stay here, but I mean, it's up to you, Aygir. You can come. I mean,
He's
whoever
AFK,
this is
so
seemed
that's
to
why-
request
that-
to
that's
speak
why
with the
I recommended
Vanguard.
that, because
Yeah, Aygir's doing his thing.
yeah,
Okay.
Adam's technically AFK, so I've recommended that just. so
Okay, very well. Walykos, Vapor, you go with the city guard over a couple districts. It takes you a little bit to go there. Actually, you probably don't walk there at this point. You probably ride atop Xena's or Nikas's, so that kind of hastens your moving about the city. And you dismount there. You go through the western gate, and there's now kind of a line blocked up because the soldiers have shut the gate, and they're having to check every single person. Now how would I say this? The security level of the city is at such a state now that it's not just, visual confirming people coming and going. They're interrogating everyone that comes and goes. So there is a figure. What does this person look like, Nick?
Oh, cool. I actually will just show my image real fast. So that's kind of what Nokki looks like. He, I guess to be fair, he probably would have a little bit of more armor on. I know Esper and I kind of talked a little bit about flavoring it. We didn't get too much into it, but yeah, so he might have, I guess, some scales periodically around his body. He's got like a big shield probably near his back. He's got a great sword on his side. And I guess is that the front of Barnacle, at the front entrance area? Or,
Exterior
at
of
the gate?
Western City Gate.
So I guess he'd probably just be calling out Vanguard, Vanguard, bring me the Vanguard. Just
Has he
calling
paid his
out.
toll yet? There's a toll to get in,
Probably paid
He
his toll,
claims
yeah.
he has more than sufficient for the toll, but
Yeah. By the way, Adam, you're still with the airship because you were AFK at the time. So it's just.
But he's
neighboring
pretty
Walykos.
massive, by the way,
Okay.
too. Like Nokki, he's probably
Well,
8.
he's not with the airship. He's
Yeah,
looking
like-
around for crew people, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you see this this bulky half-giant man who is head and shoulders above even the tallest of men, tallest of elven men. So, like Nick said, he's like approaching 8 feet tall, like at the very upper limits of what we can even consider a medium creature.
What are the guards doing as he's shouting this? Like,
so apparently there was a lot of bad noise between him and the guards, but they've basically taken to not talking to him anymore, and they're waiting on you. And
Okay, so
there's a commander of the gate here, Sir Constance Wellings, and knight, Sir Constance, says, "This one here claims that he will only speak with the Vanguard, but look at him. A giant in Barnacle, claiming to fight against giants. Who can we trust in this hour? Who can we trust? There are turncoats in our very midst, I say."
was he a sergeant? I'm sorry. Did you say he was a captain?
He's a knight.
sergeant?
He's a knight.
He's a
He's
knight.
the commander of this gate. Sir Constance Wellings.
So his proper title is commander? Or just Sir Wellings?
Sir is probably going to be good. Commander would also be acceptable.
Okay. Sir Wellings, I understand your sentiment, but in these dark times, we can't really afford to turn away any help if he is indeed an ally, which is what we're here to ask.
He has demanded to speak with you, and that you all are going to give him whatever permission he's seeking. So,
let's speak with him.
yes, let us.
We're welcome
Nokki,
to-
you see Walykos and Vapor. You out of
Yep.
character, you know what they look like, and you
Yeah,
see
I
this
was
knight.
about to
You
say,
see this,
Doki's still probably like calling out, "Vanguard, bring me the Vanguard."
and you see this knight. He's got on, knightly armor, a nice polished breastplate, a cape. He's got this helm with the visor lifted up, sword sheathed, crossbow, maybe as well as a secondary ranged weapon. And he's a middle-aged knight fellow, lanky, wiry guy.
I'll walk up to within 15 feet or so of this guy, and I'll say, "That's enough of that. You called for the Vanguard, and we're here. What do you want?"
You're the Vanguard.
That's what I just said. Yes, I'm
So
Walykos.
It is a pleasure. I am Nokki. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I guess I sort of like bend down and like put out my hand to like shake.
Now, Nokki, you expected 3 members of the Vanguard, but you're only seeing 2.
Wouldn't
Oh,
you
I
expect?
okay.
Well, I shouldn't say anything.
Okay, that's fair.
Did I say
probably
3?
a
I
good-
meant 4.
I was going to
4.
say,
Oh, okay.
what if someone gave him information like
I
this
didn't
night?
realize that I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
When
fair.
he's
Okay.
actually only getting
You
two.
expected 4, but you're only seeing 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess before I do the handshake, that I'd say I'll look around like at both, and I'll go like,
And there's a third person.
yeah, there's a
knight,
third.
technically.
Yeah, I'll say, where's the 4th member? There should be 4 Vanguard members, as I was told.
Sir Wellings is not part of the Vanguard. He is just a knight of the city of Barnacle.
Just a knight. Just a knight.
Do not take
One does not
any-
merely stumble upon such a title.
I'm gonna I'll pat him on the head, and I'll say, "It's okay, little man. Don't worry."
You will
but I
muss
only
my plume! Get your hand off of me, you oaf.
a plume. What is a plume? I have no hair. I don't. I don't
See these colors
understand.
here? And he points to the green and yellow plumage, the feathers cresting his helm.
I'm gonna. Reach
These are
in-
the
is
colors
there-
of House Wellings. Proud, loyal subjects of Drakestone.
They're
I'll like
Rollins.
reach down, and can I take the feather out of his hair, out of his helmet thing?
I think I would like move my staff, to block you if you tried to like do that, because I know this could cause Sir Wellings to have much more,
Yeah.
Sir Rollins, we have it from here. Why don't you
Yeah.
continue aiding your men with?
I don't
Everything
think
else.
that he's going to be difficult if we need to.
I am the commander of the Western Gate. Leave that to me. And
course.
nearby Nokki, you see a kite sail.
Oh,
A pretty big specimen.
Yeah. Is it? Oh, is that mine? I'm guessing.
If you want, if you have a description for it.
I didn't have a big description of it. Its name is Hera, and I guess she'd probably be pretty massive since like I'm pretty massive. Is she like? Are they like taking her to the stables or something? I'm guessing.
No, actually, at the moment, she is perched atop a cart that is to the side, like a big wagon, and the wagon owner, who came with like this team with barrels to load it up, got close to it, and she just and like did that notion. I picture she has this long snout, kind of like some like what do you call it, like ridge frill things at the bottom of her chin, snappy fangs, and then those like claws, and then like the hind legs that go up, like almost folded, almost folded frog leg style, with these massive wings that go all the way down the long body.
If I saw Hera doing that, I'd probably maybe look at the two Vanguard members and say, one moment, and I'd go over to Hera. I'd say, stop that, Hera, stop! No, you must let them do their business. And I'll kind of get Hera off the cart and try and solve that situation the best I can.
All right.
I look at Vapor.
Do you have a notion of what Hera's personality is like? Like, what kind of temperament? Is she obstinate? Is she docile?
I feel like she'd be a little bit obstinate, a little bit not always wanting to listen to orders,
right,
and
she cozies
she's like a free
into
spirit,
the straw of the wagon and doesn't want to come out. You pull at her and she just won't come, like a stubborn cat or a toddler.
Come, you're embarrassing me in front of the Vanguard.
Walykos will head on over, and I would like to try and coax Hera. I am trained in animal handling, and as you recall, Esper, from my backstory that we did a little bit with, I have been training with kite sails when I was much younger.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, that's how I was so good at riding the kite sails on that mission. So I probably use some of those old techniques of calming her and just being like, here, girl, come on out. It's all right. Maybe, some soothing word, the click, click, click noises or whatever it is that, sounds good to them.
Very well.
Very soothing.
Make a wisdom animal handling check.
Animal handling. Here we go. First roll of the game. 19 on the die plus 8. That's 27.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And she, curiously comes out from the wagon and is smelling all over you.
And I will stroke her neck, and just do the sort of horse thing, let her get my scent. Yeah.
She nips at you a couple times. Her teeth clacks.
I get it.
It's a reflexive thing, and so okay, don't get. Let her do her thing. Don't get too proactive with it.
Yes. So, and I'm like, no harm done to the wagon owners. I'm like, can you get your wagon, and kind of move it to the wagon owners is who I'm talking to.
We're trying to get the hell out of here.
And they go and start loading up barrels into the wagon.
All right. Nokki, was it?
Yes, Nokki. You seem quite good with Hera. I appreciate it.
I have an affinity with animals thanks to Avacera.
I can tell. But I still don't understand. There should be 4 Vanguard members from what I was told.
Yes, we were going to tell you that, but then things, with the captain, or the commander, rather, got a little out of hand.
That's the one with the weird feather hair thing.
Yes.
Plum.
Yes.
I know what plums are, but
Plume.
It's not plum, it's plumage.
Yes.
Plumage. Oh, I see.
It's a thing. But I am Walykos. This is Vapor.
I am
Aygir.
Nokki.
Nice to meet you, Nokki. Aygir, third member, is currently back in the city preparing for what is coming. I don't know if you're aware, but the city is about to be attacked. Come at a
Yes,
very
this
bad
is
time.
why I have come. I want to offer my assistance to the Vanguard to defend your city.
Why would you offer your assistance for people I've never? No offense, I've never heard of you.
I come from oh goodness, Flumeless, right? Flumeless?
Flumless.
Okay, Flumeless, yeah. I come from Flumeless, a mountainous region far away. Your names have come to me from what is it called? Ninrod. From Ninrod, I've heard of you from friends of mine.
That's right.
Your feats are great, and I heard of what was happening with Barnacle in the city. Terrible things with the giants. I don't like when the strong hurt the weak. I want to help.
Well,
I have
see.
much to bring. I am strong.
You're a friend of Ninrod.
Oh, that's it. Is it cool if I am a friend with Nimrod, Esper? I know that we haven't discussed that too much.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say, yes, Nimrod and I, we met long ago. We are friends.
I see. And this is out of game. This is a kind of a test. I'm like, so you, Ninrod, is he still on? Can I give the wrong name of an island? What's another island? Esper, not Blackrock Isle, but like,
Another one.
yeah, like, is there like some other island name that's a real place, but it would be enough?
White Rock Isle.
Yeah, is he still doing well on his duty on White Rock Isle? You know, something like that.
White sand.
White.
White Castle. No.
White set. Are you friends with Ninrod? He lives on Black Rock Isle.
Oh yes, he does live on Black Rock Isle. Sorry, it's my mind with
It's been
everything.
such a
done.
long time since we interacted with him.
No, it's fine. I forget things often as well. But yes, Black Rock Isle, Ninrod.
So you do know Ninrod. Okay, that's good. Well, Ninrod is
Yes, he took an oath of silence. He doesn't speak.
Yes, that's true. He does communicate through.
He's a great warrior.
Will
Oh,
he be
he-
coming to aid us as well?
Well, he has a duty, I think, to guard that place for some reason.
Yeah, so just a couple clarification points. So Nokki referenced that he's from Flumeless.
Which is
Flumeless
where
is an
Ninrod-
island on the northern side of Haven Isle. And so it's like north of the Cloud Steppe. It's north of the Goblin Lands. It's also
So I probably
close
traveled pretty
to-
far to get here.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, you flew your kite sail quite a ways. Though they fly pretty quickly, so that sped things up for you.
However,
Flumeless
we
is
do know-
also close to a goblin city called Pillarstad, which actually comes up out of the Blessed Waters. Nokki, you yourself did not speak, quote unquote, because he had taken a vow of silence. You yourself didn't speak with Ninrod, but rather some of your fellows had gone and visited him at Black Rock, and then they brought his word back.
Yeah, I think I did mention
And
that
you
when
know,
I first introduced you.
and Nokki, there is a situation going on that you are aware of, but that you don't think anyone here in Barnacle knows about, because this is a recent development. And you have come here as Ninrod was, impressed with the Vanguard and thought that they needed aid, despite the fact that really the warriors of Flumeless are going elsewhere. You're the only one that has come to Barnacle. They are going to their immediate region that's a much more immediate threat. Do you have word of this, or should I do more summarizing?
Yeah, I thought that was I know that you mentioned that they were in the message you sent me that they were doing I'll just say it out loud.
Yeah, I
they were
thought
doing,
it'd be
the
very
Hob-
effective if you brought this news to the Vanguard.
Oh, I
So
didn't
I can't
realize
summarize,
that.
but I think it'd be much cooler.
Oh
if
no,
you-
I can do it. I didn't
Yeah.
realize. I thought that stuff was happening in another region. I didn't realize it was.
It is
close
happening
by.
in another region. It's on the other side of Haven Isle.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring it up then. Yeah, I'll say, my friends, they are going to, I believe, the Cloud Step, right?
The Cloud Step and the Bridgelands.
And the bridge. They are going to the Cloud Steps and the Bridgelands. They were fighting against orcs and gnolls. Begun attacking them, but I thought it'd be best if I come to assist here. I think that they can handle themselves at the moment. Please let me help. I can bring much to the Vanguard and Barnacle.
Yes, we're in a rather dire situation. I won't deny that we could use your help, especially if you're a friend of Ninrod. I don't think that we could call him a friend necessarily, but he was helpful to us when we visited.
Yes, Ninrod is quite a great man. I wish to help though. I
Saved
believe
my life. Yeah.
A living legend, you could say.
With things that I have heard happening in the city. Well, I am not a full giant, but I do have giant blood that runs through my veins.
What have you heard, if I may ask? Because your news may be a little dated. Things have happened quickly.
That's a good question, Esper. I don't think you sent me all the stuff I know about what's been going on.
Yeah,
in Barnacle,
so Walykos does bring up a good point. You, like, for example, you don't know that there's an armada, like a giant fleet that is just a day away
doorstep.
from the threshold.
I feel like I probably just know the very bare minimum, right?
Well,
like, there's
okay, so
giants
here's
attacking
what
Barnacle.
you do know, and Vapor didn't give much of a reaction, though Vapor probably would give quite a reaction. You know that orcs and gnolls have begun attacking, like, throughout the Cloud Steppe and the Bridgelands. And even though Vapor's, like, from the very western edge by the Steam Curtain, that is the edge of the Cloud Steppe.
Yeah.
And so that means they're attacking goblin tribes, and goblin in the general meaning of that word. So, like, goblins, and hobgoblin clans are now in active war against orcs and gnolls. And they're also attacking the folk of the... Right, all that folk, the goblin and the other folk of the Cloud Steppe. And, like, that's implicated with the giants. You believe that these are allies of the giants.
I see. Okay, that makes more sense now. I
mean,
I
they
didn't
traditionally
make that
were
connection.
like that. To win Haven Isle, the fighting was not just against giants. Like, you had to win against orcs and gnolls out in the wild western part of Haven Isle.
I didn't make that connection that the fightings with the orcs and the hobgoblins and the goblins were connected with the giants and that they may be allies. That makes much more sense.
If you look at a map of Haven Isle, there's this big chunk of, like, western Haven Isle that just says orc lands.
Oh,
and
I see it. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
I mean, the elves haven't settled there. And the elven presence here is only 150 years in. So they haven't completely.
Yeah, elves are entirely native to Terra Morgana and not Haven Isle at all, right?
Exactly.
All right. I guess I would continue.
Interestingly, the giants are not originally from Haven Isle. Originally, they're from Lunda Grootvaters. But they, like, conquested Haven Isle, aka Aberg, like, way, way long ago.
Do we know who is native to Haven Isle? Is it dwarves or is it anybody?
A bunch of animals, a bunch of beasts.
I suppose
Xenas
I would.
And Nicuses and kite sails and lots of crustaceans. And some local gods.
I suppose I would say the fightings between the orcs and the gnolls, I think, may be connected to the giants that may be attacking or be involved in the onslaughts and things with Barnacle and that you have dealt with, from what I've heard. Again, I wish to bring aid with what's happening. I believe the giants, they're tarnishing our good reputation. Again, I'm not a full giant, but I do have giant blood in my veins, and I want to bring back the honor that we once had.
Nokki, I have to say, you come at a very hard time. You're not going to have many people welcome you to the city. The giants are a day away from attacking this region. Like, they're at our doorstep, even now. And everything...
That soon? I didn't realize it was happening so soon. I should have got here sooner. I'm sorry.
Well, you're here now, and I think we need to take you and talk to our allies, because you might be of great help. They need to know. The Duke needs to know about the Cloud Steppe being attacked as part of some sort of further plan. Even if we defeat the giants here, if the cloud steps are overrun, correct me if I'm wrong, Esper, but that would
It'd be
spell like they would come in from the other side of the island, right?
Yes, this is quite important to bring to your Duke. I'd be happy to explain the situation as best I can. Hopefully we can deal with this situation.
Well,
if
maybe
it would
maybe
help,
not the
perhaps.
Duke. The Duke is very stressed, right? He has a lot of burdens on him, and he is not in the best of health. But we will bring you to one of his either Seneschal Crane Wellings or someone else of import who can make decisions and
You
take this
say
information.
you say that the people in the city may not take me very well.
No, there's not much love for giants after, well,
Perhaps I wear plumage that help them like me. Yes.
perhaps. Let me see what I can do. Let's see. Checking things.
While I guess like while Walykos is like thinking, I would like be looking for that man again. The
Oh no.
guy who had the plumage. I'm like looking around.
Oh, he's still there. Yeah, Sir Constance Wellings.
Yeah, I'm gonna like I guess like I don't know if Walykos is like thinking through the. I would like start walking over
This
to him again.
is blood right. This is earned through cunning and
May
valor.
I borrow
This
the
is not.
plumage?
This is not merely some feather you pluck out of a squawking chicken. This is not something you just rip free from the neck of a Nycus and
But
stick upon your head.
It's just
This
feather.
is earned, mind you.
We
Commander-
fight. We do arm wrestle. I win. I get plumage. You
Commander-
win. I give you.
I would like to take responsibility for this half giant and escort him through the city. Is there any issues?
Walykos, if the Vanguard considers this brute here to be an asset in our fight, then so be it.
We do. Yes.
Yes.
You
brings
have my
important-
leave.
Thank
You
you.
have my leave. He's like looking, addressing you, Nokki, to enter our sovereign city.
Best behavior.
If you cause any trouble, mark my word, you will rue the day.
Oh, I thank you. I won't cause any trouble at all. And I'm gonna like reach for his hand and like start shaking it.
I'll say in giant, that's enough of that.
Can't be.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me into your city. I will be of as much help as I can. No trouble at all.
Indeed.
Yes, well, it is easy to say such things, but Walykos, he is in your charge.
Thank you, Sir Wellings. Please.
That goes
tend
for
to
you
me,
as well, Magus Vapor.
Of course. Let's take him to Aygir. Well, I'm sorry. Aygir has to go. So he's like.
Aygir doesn't, but I do.
Adam has
but
to
yeah.
go. Aygir, can we just assume that you're going to be spending your time getting prepared?
You'll probably find him.
Adam, how much
with
time do
Arachno,
you have?
1 minute.
Basically.
I
Oh,
assume that Aygir would just be doing
Okay.
like downtime related things, right?
He's assembling a crew.
okay.
You'll probably find him with Arachno, and I figure this is something we can touch on next session, whether or not
Okay.
it's its own full thing. I'll still be listening to this, so I'll at least know what you guys are doing. But
You just can't
Okay,
be.
so
on
there's a thing, but I don't want to get to it without you yourself actually present.
okay, well, what is it, and how long will it take? I could conceivably go like 5 more minutes.
Definitely not.
Then
We can always
Okay.
do it. We can
Not
always do it
even
next
a
session.
we'll do it
close.
next time. We'll do it
Yeah.
next time.
Yes,
Because
you
I
don't
think
want,
that
we don't
we-
want to do this with you on any sort of time constraint.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Well. Yep.
Okay.
I
Well,
look forward to seeing what else you get up to.
thank you. Can I request that you can you leave like your Zoom call going? Is that possible? Because
You
if you
have-
log
you have
out,
it
we're
on
gonna
your
lose you,
phone.
and then everyone's gonna just see like a.
Just leave your computer. We'll kick you when it's all
Sure.
over.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Just close your camera, mute your mic.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. If the cat
Alright.
hits it, then we'll just have a really funny, mute you.
He won't be in the room. But anyway, yep. Keep going.
All right, man. I'll talk to you on Discord. I do actually have like a backup, simple layout I can go to if need be. It doesn't look great, but at least gives us each our own It's just a share of
yeah.
the Zoom call is all it is.
Totally understood.
So
Yeah.
people would just be seeing like a regular Zoom
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, we'll
it's
get
better
to that
than
if it
nothing.
happens. Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Vapor's gonna ask Walykos if he can handle Nikoi. Because he
No,
knows Sony.
Nokki, not Nikoi, not Nokki, not Nokki.
He's gonna look to Walykos. Can you
Suggest
handle
you
him?
let-
I still need to raid that submarine.
Oh, you're going to go down to the submarine? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Submarine, what is this, Sai?
There's a lot to explain, but not here, not now. Nokki, just come with me.
Of course.
Yeah,
Okay,
Vapor's
so
will heading down.
we
get
can-
a boat.
We can assume that Walykos, Nokki are going to meet with Aygir, and you all are making what preparations you can and kind of explaining Nokki's presence and his personal quest.
Well, I would have liked to have a meet with, like, some leadership that would
Sure.
have been like, hey, this is what's happening at the, steps.
I feel like there's probably lots
yeah,
of
I think that should be
staring,
done when
because I'm like-
Adam is here.
You don't want to accidentally trip something that's going to happen.
Well, that's
I
like
get it.
major news for Aygir, that the Hobgoblin clans are now like in active war
Gotcha.
with orcs.
Well,
I mean, that's like
then
ain't
are we
like
stopping the session then?
old. Well,
Well, I think
Vapor
we can-
Vapor's going to do his thing.
Okay, let's do Vapor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vapor, you go down into the quite cold, blessed waters, and with the benefit of your breath not running out, you can hold your breath indefinitely.
Indefinitely.
Oh, actually, wait. Oh,
What if
actually,
you
before-
no longer have breath, like you cast spells underwater or release your breath? Then I guess you're not holding it anymore. You just don't have
Wait,
breath.
Could I? Could
so
I?
you would have
could
to
I
go
do
for
something?
air.
Can I do something real quick because this might be relevant?
That makes sense. That's what that would mean. Otherwise, they would just say you can breathe water.
So quick thing, because Nokki could actually help with this. I can breathe underwater.
Whoa.
You
Yeah,
can
because-
if you choose that option out of 3 options.
I did because I was going to Barnacle, which is like
course.
water and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
so I guess Nokki would actually mention if like he's going there that hey, like I could help with this.
No, Nokki, we don't know you well enough. No offense. This is something that I'm not comfortable with you.
And
Hi,
you know
we
what
just
we're
met 5
looking
seconds
for.
ago, and I'm half
You
giant.
seem trustworthy.
Can I go
Would you-
inside this sunken vessel of the giant's ally?
Giants? Yeah. And then he hits the self-destruct button so we can't get it, and blows everything up.
That would be even funnier if he really was trying to help you guys, but he just didn't know what he was
Yeah,
doing.
he accidentally hits
Yeah, like
a
I
What this thing
accidentally
do?
do it, but then I get blamed for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah,
Vapor.
Vapor would also mention it's like you don't know what exactly we're looking for, and we don't have time to explain everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nokki. It's too sensitive for what, the time we have. Vapor just needs to do this alone.
Vapor, you take in your deep breath of air and into the water, swim your way down to the sunken submersible. I guess you guys still haven't actually learned what the name of this vessel is called. It has a really cool name, but no one's learned it. All right, so
How would we?
you go to the front where the front viewing port was smashed open by yourself and Walykos. And you pull yourself inside, and I imagine you're probably using a light cantrip to get some better viewing down here in the murky bottom of the shallow.
Where the chickens are
the coastal
calling.
waters. And you see, this like control panel and the seat, and then there are some other kind of I want to call them seats, but almost like protruding bench areas along the side that people could sit on. There's a ladder that goes up to a top hatch. There is a back area, kind of a back room that reminds you of almost a small workstation, and there are clearly like tools of artifice and alchemy
So Vapor will start gathering anything that looks important. If there's crates, he will stuff the crates into the bag of holding. And he's just looking for anything that stands out, that's possibly important, and he'll take his time searching every nook and cranny for everything.
Okay. There's nothing that I would call a crate, but there are certainly compartments that you could search inside of. Things that are built into a workbench and like wall compartments. It seems like he was pretty active here. And some things have just fallen to the ground. Other things you can open up the drawers and cabinetry and such. And you begin looking around. There are lots of things that strike you as alchemical components, and you know that he would make these special bolts that he would fire from that Artificer crossbow. And like Walykos got hit with some kind of sticky tar, and someone else got hit with like a thunderous blast. So you're finding these things. Some containers, there was like a powder, so the powder's kind of ruined or it's gone. Others are sort of like a crystalline or salty type, crushed, granulated. Others are more, resinous. There's a variety of alchemical things. So you scoop up as much of those, collect as much of those as you think might be worth taking. There are these specialized bolts that look like they're made to be like filled in with some alchemical substances, shattering when the bolt strikes, or delivering the alchemical load. So you collect these various things. Do you have a skill that you would like to use in the midst of all of your investigating?
What would be? Oh, I don't think insight would be useful. Otherwise, it'd be Arcana.
Okay, and what are you thinking with Arcana?
He knows while artificers create their magic, it's still magical in nature. So he's looking for anything along those lines.
Typically, Arcana would either be knowledge of things arcane or some sort of active spell craft. Now, if you want, you could apply that sort of knowledge to what you have found so far in terms of magical components.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, he might.
Do you have some sort of searching check, like a perception or an investigation?
Yeah, I'm not proficient in either of those, so I would just have to do a basic one. But yeah, because he's looking for anything that can be hidden away or stuff like that. And as I said, he's checking everything because he can hold his breath indefinitely, so he's got the time to do it.
Yeah, go for it. Give me your choice, perception or investigation.
Oh, they're both the same. And that's another 19.
Give me a D100 roll.
Okay. That is 71.
Amidst the various compartments, one thing you find is quite striking. It is a heart. It looks like the size of an elf's heart. And it is inside of amber. So like an amber chunk. Most of it would be taken up by this heart. Preserved thing. Give another roll.
Okay. 100 or investigation?
Yes, another D100.
Okay. Okay, that is not as good. 7.
A vial, clearly with some variety of potion inside of it. So,
Okay.
a potion, a heart of some variety in amber, and then miscellaneous, waterlogged alchemical components. Reagents, we might consider them.
Vial.
There are a few other, I might call them commonplace effects, things you might think to find here, like a little bit of food stores, stuff, some cookware or something to eat the food with, towels, some spare clothes. Nothing really strikes you as interesting or important. There's one thing you do notice, or that maybe stands out to you, and it's not something that you find, but it's actually a lack of things. There is just a big amount of the space that's just totally empty. There's just nothing there. And it's like, well,
So there's like no
he
machinery.
he could make usage of this space, and it's just completely void.
Can Vapor tap along the walls and floor and ceiling in that area just to see if there's maybe a compartment there that's hidden?
You don't think there is one. You tap along, and you do a bit of searching, and maybe even go outside and kind of compare. Is there some bulge or some like other amount of space? And no, there's certainly nothing secretive.
Are there any marks on the ground of something could have been used as a storage compartment? He was storing something there, and then he unloaded it. Scratches on the ground showing something got dragged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see a bit of indication of that.
Okay, so something.
Yeah,
was
he's
stored
moved.
here.
He's moved something heavy in and out of here recently.
Could you tell if they were crates or barrels, perchance?
Might be.
Okay. Are there anything that looks like that could have been plans or stuff, paperwork that were sealed away in water, hopefully water safe?
You don't notice anything that's like a log or a map or plans or anything documenting this. Now, this is something you already have. He had a sending stone on his person, and whoever took it, you heard Bale Vonder communicate in.
It was Aygir.
Was it Walykos?
Aygir had
It was
it.
Aygir. Okay.
No, it was Aygir. He heard it.
So yeah, Aygir heard Bale Vonder, doing sort of a daily
And-
call in, and
he
Aygir didn't
replied.
respond.
No, Aygir did respond.
Oh, did he? What did he say?
Yeah, he did.
Remember, he tried to fake it.
Oh, that's right.
Go back and rewatch the last
That's
video.
right.
You'll see it all.
He
Okay.
did try faking it.
That's true. Okay.
Yep. You'll get the check they made and everything to deceive. But I'm not going to say my opinion on that because you're the DM. You already know.
Does anything else? Is there anything else that you want to do, Vapor?
I'm trying to think of what he would do, because it's, as I said, he's specifically looking for stuff that would help them, plans or anything like that. If he doesn't find anything there, he might swim.
There would
the
be
tunnel.
siege ammunition, like the ballista bolts,
Oh,
and
he
that's
would
in like
definitely
this like
take
big, rectangular compartment that you open it up, and like there's a pretty elaborate system set up there at the front controls. So it looks like he actually can like load in a number of these shots, and then once you've shot your whatever 5 or 6 of them, you'll have to go through this reloading phase.
He would take as many of those as he could fit into the bag of holding.
Okay, there you go. You fit them in. They look like fairly standard ballista bolts, but they all like have this like or stamped or marked sigil on them, like an arcane sigil. And just looking at it, you know, like, okay, these things are like primed to be empowered with force when they're shot out of the arcane ballista.
Well, their airship now has more ammunition.
It does, yeah, it does seem to be the same kind of ammunition.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then, with that, he would swim up the tunnel, trying to go into that where the submarine would harbor.
Okay, you swim or pull yourself through the tunnel. It takes a little while, and then you come up into this pool in this underground. It's not really a cave. It doesn't look like a natural cave, not at all. It looks like it's just been roughly hewn just out of the rock, just carved out. There's something that I never mentioned this before, but maybe you would have noticed it before, like during the waiting for the battle. All of this rock that got like excavated out of here, it's just dumped there into the shallows, like the coastal waters. You see just all these chunks of rock, just piles of it. Maybe that's even what you were like hiding behind when the submergible was coming through. So it looks like literally somehow, it almost reminds you of like if some monster has like this tunneling ability and just like clawed through stone and just like took the chunks out and just cast them into the shallow waters. So you go back up into this man-made or monster-made cave, and everything's quiet and still and dark in there. And there are these two chambers, kind of like very Spartan personal chambers, private chambers, and then that tunnel that like leads up to the secret trapdoor in the out of the defunct storehouse.
He would do another search of those rooms, taking his time once again. He's pretty sure Vapor's pretty sure that he's not going to find anything. But it's,
I'll save you some time. There's nothing else to find, but you do your due diligence and make sure there isn't something that got overlooked. The only thing that I guess is sort of worth noting is that you can tell that the half dragon had come into his personal chamber like between that first time you all came here and then just yesterday with the battle. So I mean he was actively using this.
Okay. With that, he'll head up and make his way actually go find Walykos to ask him a couple questions.
All right, so a short time later, you have rejoined with Walykos and Nokki.
Yeah. Is this before we have all our stuff still, I take it, with the nobles and all that?
Yes, I really want to...
I know, we gotta push it to the side.
Yeah.
As much as it feels like we would do that immediately.
Yeah, so perhaps they're in a meeting that we can't intrude on at the moment.
Yeah, this is like right before... Nokki talks to Aygir, and before you all talk with the Duke and
I was
such.
going right with Nokki to there, but yeah, we can have us waiting at the top. I guess that could be conceivable.
Yeah.
So did you find anything down there?
I found ammunition, a couple weird objects, but
weird objects.
I'll show you. But I swam back up through the tunnel to search the hideouts one more time, just to be sure. I don't know if we noticed this before, but does Bill Vondor have a creature in his control that can tunnel?
I mean, could it have been the dragon? Wasn't the dragon able to breathe underwater, that particular one?
That tunnel, it was carved by something that could itself. The rocks from it are just strewn along the cliff face there in the shallows.
I mean...
That thing wasn't carved by a dragon, it was carved by some sort of creature. Something else.
Well, I'm thinking, Esper. Is there anything that I would know from my
Make an
Bailwander?
intelligence nature check.
Okay, give me a second. My apparently D&D Beyond is down at the moment, so gateway timeout. Let me see if I can get back here. Oh,
You could do the same, Vapor.
I just have
What
to
am I
reload
making
my
again?
character sheet. Nature check.
Intelligence nature.
I mean,
Okay.
it's already intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a 16 for Vapor.
Okay.
If I think the
you're not
character
sure.
database is down.
You believe that some dragons can tunnel, but you're not sure.
I can't get into my character sheet. Their database is down right now. But
What are you looking for?
my character sheet,
But like what specifically on it?
my nature bonus.
Oh, okay. Well, your intelligence is plus
I
one.
don't know. Okay.
You don't know.
I don't, yeah, the thing is, I don't make a lot of those checks. I know I
Well,
rolled a
Walykos
10 on
seems
the,
fairly intelligent. You got to have like a plus
at least
one,
a plus
plus
one.
0.
It's got to be +1 or +2, maybe. I don't know.
All right, so plus
But
one,
anyways,
and then you're proficient in nature, I imagine, which would be plus 3. So make a roll of plus 4.
Then I've got a 14.
Okay, so you're not sure. Vapor is like only slightly more sure. He's like, I seem to recall that I've heard that some dragons can tunnel.
Now,
I don't know.
Esper, wait. Is this? And I know this is metagame, but you have to let me know because I can't let you know. Is it a monstrosity or a giant? Because I get advantage on.
Well, we're talking
checks.
about dragons.
Well, he's Vapor's.
Well,
just
I mean,
asking-
I'm thinking about other creatures. Is there anything that matches this that's native to this, region, or that maybe Bailwander had access to? You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Because I would have advantage because of my favorite enemy, monstrosity.
Okay. Well, I mean, why don't you just make it regarding monstrosities as its own separate check then?
Yeah, I'll
that first
do
one was
its own
about
separate
dragons.
check. And then here we go with monstrosities. 18.
There are known to be in the sea of lava these lava worms, and you believe that they can tunnel through rock, solid rock, and they'll leave behind these kind of like a molten tunnel that cools, but you don't think that that's what this was.
I was going to say we would notice that on the walls. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're literally like a fiery magma type worm thing out in the sea
The
of
water
lava.
would be boiling. There'd be dead fish washing up, Yeah.
There's not
Forbidden
telltale
signs.
signs that was the case here.
I
It
have no idea.
seemed
The
it
rocks,
seemed
there's-
really like more like claws hewing it.
So
Yeah.
maybe it was a dragon then.
That would be my guess, barring some other creature that we haven't seen. But then why would we have not encountered it before now? Why was it
Well,
not
then
there?
I'm glad that we took his dragon out.
Yes.
Now, Nokki, you are here involved in this conversation. Do you know anything about dragons?
Yeah, I wanted them to get their stuff out, but yeah, no, like, I don't, so I know Nokki, he's from the mountainous area, and he is half giant.
Giants and dragons hate each other.
Yeah, like, I feel like he probably would know at least something about dragons, like being half giant, being from the mountain area where dragons sometimes are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make an
but
intelligence nature check.
I don't know anything
I
probably.
got back. So I got back into my character sheet. I am trained in nature. My int mod is 0 though, so I gave myself a +1 more than I should have had.
I got a 12. You know what? Actually, wait. I did have inspiration on my character sheet from Adriel. Did I get that last time? I think I
You
did.
never used it. That was from the session 2 sessions ago.
Okay.
All right.
But you never
I
got a chance to
will.
use it.
I'll go ahead and use it. I don't think I'm gonna get another chance.
I have
so-
the inspiration for this session from last session.
All right. It didn't help me, but I got a 12.
I'm going to ask Esper anyways to carry that over.
Nokki, you have no idea. You're like, dragons fly. What do you mean?
Yep.
Do you think
tunnel
our-
Yeah.
dirt and rock.
I guess I would mention that. I'd probably be like, I do know that dragons generally fly. I don't think that they tunnel much.
Vapor, rather than us trying to guess, why don't we just ask Corgain?
I was gonna say.
He'd
We
know.
should ask
He's
him.
the sort of person that would know about.
Orgain is the sort of person that might know these
Again,
things.
is this another dragon, or I'm sorry, another Vanguard member?
Yes. The Vanguard, despite what you've heard, is not just for people. There have been a couple associated people who don't share the spotlight.
There's much I do not understand, apparently, but I hope to learn more.
Well, that remains to be seen. There's just so much going on right now, Nokki, and we're just trying to deal with everything.
Well, if you show me the enemy, I will punch them in the face very hard, and I'm sure that will solve all of the problems.
The problem is the enemies, well, being giants, are also ships and flying vessels, and maybe even, I doubt they have any more dragons. I hope they have no more dragons.
Flying vessels?
Yes. Can we see the flying skiff like over the city somewhere? Like it's got to be like by the storm tower, right? Or
like in the air?
towers.
I believe it's docked near where the kite sail landing is at Longkeep.
But that's like above the city top. So like, couldn't we look up and see it somewhere?
You could take Nokki to go see it. It wouldn't be any like far walk. You could go somewhere where you have a view of it.
I was just gonna point to it if it was visible. If it's not, then yeah, I will walk a little bit, but I don't want to go all the way to
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense that Aygir is arriving with Corgain and Arachno. We'll get to all this stuff next session, but Corgain will, kind of scratch his head, and I'm going to give him advantage on his check since he himself actually is a dragon, a gem dragon.
What does he
Which
think?
I
Wait,
believe
what
all
does
the
he-
dragons
what-
of Mirrormourn are gem dragons.
What does
That's kinda
Corgain
what I've
think of
decided.
me then? By the
What's-
way, since I'm half giant, like does Corgain?
What's that?
Because I'm half giant and he's a
Uh-huh.
dragon. Like, does he have any opinions of me?
He's not really racist as far as I can
Well, I
tell,
know, but still, like,
yeah.
it's interesting. Like,
We'll see. Esper will.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So let me finish the
Get to it
checks. That
next.
way I don't forget this.
yeah, do the check. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
All right, so
Want to-
Corgain is along the lines of Vapor, and he says, "Yes, there are some dragons that are known to have tunneling capabilities. I believe emeralds can. I believe so. They are resistant as well to heat and to psychic assaults.
As my armor.
That
yeah.
I think is our best hypothesis for the moment."
So then we've removed his tunnel then from the field.
Well, I mean.
Hopefully.
And you see Nokki, this like long hair, square jawed elven fellow who's, got some pretty practical clothing on and a like this, maybe called a leather satchel that he carries. Maybe there's something of interest in there. And he carries a walking staff, a kind of a quarterstaff. And he looks up at you and he says, "You are a rather large fellow."
And you are a rather small fellow. How are you? I am Nokki.
Well, some would consider me large.
Really?
Oftentimes
You
it is what is on the inside that counts for our greatness.
don't- Yes, I heard that from a book I think I might have read once.
Now,
somewhere else.
you carry an accent from the Northland, the northern region.
Oh yes, you've
Are
been there.
you from Flumless?
I am from Frumless. How did you know? Have you been there before?
You just
I
said
have
your
been-
accent.
I've
Yeah, I
been
know,
to
I'm
many
just-
places and have known many people.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Corgain, I think it was.
I am
Walykos-
Corgain Makel, a close ally of Walykos and Vapor and Aygir, and this here is Arachno. Hello.
Hello, I am Nokki. Just Nokki. I don't have other names.
Well met, Nokki of Flumless.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Nokki of Flumless. Yes, I will use that next time. It is a pleasure to meet you. How do you know so much about dragons?
He's well studied. And I look
Very well
at
studied.
I look at Corgain and I say, Nokki here is come to the city from the steppes with important news of possibly Baal Vonder's plans, and he's offered to help us fight the giants.
You don't say.
Yes. Did we tell you about our time on Blackrock Isle? Like, I think we gave you the full
Yeah,
report.
I think we told him the.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Well, I
the
mean, it was
half-giant?
essentially Corgain who
Sent
gave
us
you
there.
that quest, if you want to put it that way.
I don't remember what we told
Yeah.
him and what we didn't. It was so
I
many
assume you
sessions.
told him about everything.
I think so too. I just wanted to be clear.
Are
yeah,
you
do
saying
remember-
that the guardian of Suther Vigil, of the ruin of Suther Vigil,
Yes.
has,
Contacted Flumless.
has given you
and-
this task, Nokki?
Yes, my friend Ninrod. I heard from my other friends of him, and they sent over to me in Flumless, and I come to help the Vanguard. I want to assist in any way I can.
Your timing could not have been any better. We are at a desperate hour and in need of all allies that we can. We are in need of great need of allies.
Well, with Nokki on your side, you cannot lose. I've never lost a battle yet. Well, at least not ones that I want to talk about.
I've never lost a battle except the ones that I have lost. And I refuse to talk about those.
So, before we get into that, I do have a question, and at this
That's
point,
fair.
he will pull out the amber encased heart.
Oh, what is that?
That is what I want to know.
Yeah, that's
I found it on the sub.
Corgain. Any ideas?
An elven
Well,
heart encased in amber.
Yes.
It's very odd.
He'll take a look at it and give a roll.
Nokki is like eyeing it as well, like looking it up and down, like trying to figure
Okay.
out what it is, even though he has no idea.
He rolled quite well there. This is not the heart of just any elf. This is a heart of one of the mer, the merfolk.
Is it?
What do you mean by?
Why is it encased in amber?
South of Ter Morgana, there are a race of elf-like sea dwellers which have tails instead of legs. Fish-like tails. The merfolk. It is one of their hearts.
Why would he?
Why would
have
he have a
this?
heart encased in
Yeah.
amber?
I don't
Obviously
know.
preserved
What else
it,
did you
but-
find nearby it?
Well, and he will start explaining everything he found. He found the potion, waterlog, alchemic ingredients.
Yes, it could be considered a magical component, of course.
Do you have any idea what sort of magic? I mean, obviously, this is a question for the master of rituals, but if you knew, it would be he's more convenient since he's.
Well, I would
Probably-
imagine something related to the sea.
Yes.
You all know so much about these things. I don't understand many of the things you say, but
Well, what is it that is your strong point, Nokki?
I punch things very hard with my claws, and then I'll make my hand actually have some claws appear on it. I say I slash them hard, and with my shield I defend, and I'll pull the shield out and flex my muscles.
I
Not
see.
very learned, but very strong, willing to fight.
A primal warrior from the rocky island of Flumless.
Indeed, yes.
So it would seem.
And
I'll put my shield back.
you have no love for Belvander and his ilk?
No, I think that when the strong prey on the weak, it is unacceptable. Strong should defend the weak. That is why we are strong. But what Belvandors do, it's a disgrace to giants everywhere.
I cannot claim that I have any intimate knowledge of the folk of Flumless, though I couldn't have ever imagined hearing a giant or even a giant kin say such a thing.
It is quite peculiar.
I only wish to help people. I don't see any reason to use my strength to hurt people unless they hurt others, of course. I think it's better to do it this way. Even if, as you say, I saw how people looked at me here, but I think that I can show them that not all giants are the same. We think for ourselves. We are not all the same.
Of course, of course. Are you a member of the, what is the name of that place? Rulagheim? He just referenced this monastery that is on the Isle of Flumeless, and the order that dwells at this monastery. They have a sort of different philosophy or religion.
Okay, yeah, no, I know that we mentioned some stuff about that. Would they kind of have the same idea that I have, like, strong protecting the weak and stuff like that?
Not really. So, maybe from your perspective of things, Nokki, where you come from, there's kind of all kinds of people that dwell there. They're half giants. So literally the origin of your people was long ago the giants procreated with non-giant people. Orcs is one, orcs, and so kind of like behind the scenes, the half giants of MIRRORMOURN would be like Goliaths and ogres and half ogres.
Yeah.
So like the pure-blooded races of MIRRORMOURN are giant, elf, and dwarf. Those are like the three core races, and everything else is basically some sort of
like half-breed.
Yeah, some kind of interbreeding, selective breeding, even some magical tampering. So like even the orc would come back to some amalgam of like elf and dwarf blood brought about by giant overlords.
With the Goliath, do you know like what the other half of it is? Like I know it's giant, but what would the other? Would it be elf, human, dwarf? Like
it's kind of a mutt.
Oh, it's just a lot of things.
It's really it's kind of a mutt. Half giant is just sort of this catch-all term for this mutt thing, where you have like giant blood, but there's if you trace it all the way back, it's gonna have elf and dwarf
more
in there.
Stone giants, from their lineage.
Right. Yeah, we could think of maybe the Goliath persuasion as more like the stone giant.
Gotcha.
And the ogre is probably more like with the hill giant.
I guess with the monastery
frost
then, like I guess probably Nokki probably what isn't with the monastery.
Yeah, it doesn't particularly fit you. So I mean, there's maybe one main settlement on Flumeless, and then some other like smaller.
And to be fair, Nokki might like have his.
So there's going to be differences in opinions and goals and such, but I would say this: the half giants typically don't really have a love for the pure giants. They never really had a great.
If you think about it, they're like dwarves mostly and giants and mudding.
Yeah, the relations were never that great. You kind of see the giants as like tyrants. That's it. Now there would be some half giants that might like have an opinion otherwise, and is like we need to be proud of our giant heritage, and their might is great, and they never should have lost the battle to the elves. But that would be less prevalent.
I think the way Nokki sees it is like he obviously doesn't like the giants because they were tyrants and stuff, but he's sort of like he's been saying, he's like he views their strength to be something to be proud of because he's like a strong half giant. So he's like the strength is something to be envied, and like I want to be strong like I would say giant heritage, but he wants to like bring about like this new like he doesn't want to do what they've done, right? He wants to like bring, like he said, like honor back to the giant blood. He wants to be like, no, this isn't how all giants have to be. Like we can be different, we can change,
Sure. I would say in general, it's complicated and there's not an easy answer. I would say like amongst the half giants, the most common attitude is like, oh, the pure giants of old, those were tyrants and good riddance. there's this kind of conflict or kind of like a resentment. But then if like this, you know, an elf like disparages you for your giant blood, then you're like, I'm proud of my might and my strength, right? It's kind of like we can criticize our folk, but outsiders can't. They don't have that right. And the fact that the half giants now are sort of allying with the goblin kind to fight off the orcs, it's sort of an enemy of my enemy situation. Half giants don't particularly have any love of goblin kind, but the orcs are considered like a worse, like an enemy, a worse thing.
Yeah, I feel like Nokki might be like quite different then, because like at least how I designed him, he doesn't really hate anyone just because they're hobgoblin or orc or elf, or like he really does just want to be like, hey, like we're all just trying to live our life, like why can't we just all live together, you know? Be like let's stop hurting
I would
each other,
imagine
you know?
there would be very, very few people in general that have that sort of attitude, especially those that are like that have a warlike nature to them, that like are in combat and kill people and risk getting killed. That's a pretty rare type of perspective. So Nokki, you are a unique soul. But we'll see. There's who knows. This is just the seed has been planted. Nokki will develop into whatever he'll develop into.
Yeah, who knows? Like he's been in the mountains his whole life. Maybe after this battle and war, he's like, I do hate giants now and everything else. You know.
Yeah. Well, again, it's complicated because even amongst giants, there are different tendencies.
First battle with
right, like the fire giants tend to be lawful evil. The frost giants tend to be chaotic evil. The stone giants tend to be neutral.
So I was just gonna say, first battle with Balvander, he just cast Dominate, you know, on you, and it's just like, fight for me now. You're like, no, the giants are not so bad. Yeah, I like this.
I have advantage on dominating giant kin. All right.
Yeah.
And suddenly,
And
then everyone thinks like Noki's actually a bad
constant
person.
swellings. I told you so.
Just punch him, take his plume.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like take his plumage.
Anyways, as far
all right, so yeah, why don't we wrap things up there, because without
I
Adam,
want to
it's
keep
just
going,
hard
but
to.
We can't.
Yeah, we're stuck at a spot where we can't move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got some cool stuff prepared. I'm going to be preparing even more, and look forward to that. Thanks everybody for following along with this sort of shorter transition almost session. And next time we're going to be getting into some, I imagine, intense stuff.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yep.
All right, until next time.